We're going to go through the top 10 alternating picks. We're going to reference only the ESPN mock draft. We're just using this to we're kind of keeping an eye on this, just like have the guys that we think might be around there.
We're looking at their ranking of the top 15 guys just to understand. Maybe we want to get bold. Maybe we want to, So I'm flipping the coin for the first pick in the draft. The way we're going to do it is we're going to alternate between Dominic and I like we always do every year. So if he wins the toss, he'll get the first pick. I'll get the second, blah, blah, blah. You get the idea.
Exactly.
So I'm flipping here. I got a 1982 penny.
Wow.
It's the closest thing I found. It's around the podcast center here. So what 82. Do you got? Heads or tails?
I will go ahead and take tails. Why not?
Oh, I got it. He got it. Tails it is. You're number one.
Tails it is, baby. Let's go. Let's go. So I'm number one. So I will go ahead and take Cam Ward. That's obvious. I think it's an obvious pick.
Yeah, so Cleveland's number two. This is a choice really. It comes down to, is it Travis Hunter or do you want to reach for Shedeur Sanders? Cleveland obviously needs a quarterback. They got a couple of vets that they're kind of counting on for this year. So do I want to be bold or do I want to say it's just Travis Hunter? I think by all accounts it's going to be Travis Hunter. So I'll be boring and I'll stick with Travis Hunter for Cleveland at number two. If they love, I'll say this. If they love Shedeur Sanders, if they really think he's the guy, they have to go quarterback. I understand the Travis Hunter hype, but if you think that guy could be your franchise quarterback, you've got to go quarterback at that point. I can understand how they feel burned, but, they haven't drafted a guy high in a while. But I would say, and I do think there's a lot to like about Shedeur Sanders, but I'll go Travis Hunter.
Do they? My thing about it is I think unless they're absolutely in love with Shedeur, I don't think you draft him. Because I think if they draft Travis Hunter, I don't think he makes a difference in how much they win or lose next year, just because that team is so bad right now. And I think they're still going to probably be picking in the top two, top three. And at that point, the Watson contract will kind of be worn out.
Are they that bad, right?
They're terrible, man. They
were terrible last year. But they were also expected to have a much better defense, and they performed horribly. I get it. I think the situation at quarterback is so devastating for them that, maybe it's addition by subtraction a little bit. What do you think of the Travis Hunter chatter about, I want to play both ways or I won't play at all?
Let him do what he wants to do, and if it blows up, okay, we make an adjustment. That's what I would do.
It's the wrong thing to say, but he's a young man.
Yeah, I don't know. I let him. These guys, athletes, it's a lot more of a psychological thing than I think people give it credit for. Sports, I think people just think the biggest, strongest, the fastest guy always wins. It's no, it's a very mental thing, and it's a lot to do with your confidence. And so I think if that's going to give, if having him out there playing both ways is going to give him confidence, shoot, especially if you're the Cleveland Browns and you're not playing for much next year anyways, why not try it? See if he can do it. Maybe he can do it. Maybe he is a special generational talent that's available. I think he's a good wide receiver. I think he's a very good corner. But I don't know. Yeah, try it.
It's really, to be honest with you, it's not that hard to do to have him be, full-time corner and then work him in 10, 15 plays a game at receiver. No. Yeah. It's not that hard.
I agree.
A lot of breaks in football. He could handle it.
Exactly. But I got New York Giants number 3. I'm picking I'm going to stick with ESPN here, and I'm going to go Abdul Carter. Although I do think he actually goes number 2 to the Browns, and then the Giants take Hunter. But I'm going to go Abdul Carter here at 3.
Interesting.
I just don't. I think signing Winston and Russell Wilson signals we don't like Shedeur Sanders, and I think at this point, I think they're in just 911, we need to win now mode. Um, and I mean, you have a lot of young skill position talent there between, if you do get Hunter, between Hunter and Malik Neighbors. That's a exciting young core to kind of do the Ron Rivera, like, let's add as much talent as we can and then drop the quarterback in when we're ready. Now, we know how that worked out for Ron, but maybe they can execute it better in New York.
Well, the
That brings us.
Giants are in that tough position, right? Because I think that they got 2 picks, number 3 and number 20. I think they got Malik Neighbors from last year. It's that is not a roster that doesn't have some talent, right?
Yeah,
Like that could you could see them having a 7-8 win season, which might be enough to save some jobs because they could point to the fact that look at the progression. But you still don't have a quarterback,
yeah,
right, of the future. And that puts you in, it's just a tough spot for them to be in. But you're right. They need to save jobs. I agree with you. I think that's the reason you don't see a Shedeur go off the board. If it was a new coaching staff, that might be a different pick.
cool. I agree. I agree. I think they just don't have the time to develop, and I think they're in the like self-sabotaging, like Shane's trying to throw Dayball under the bus to save his job, Dayball's trying to throw Shane under the bus to save his job. They're in that like nasty place that Washington has been in a lot, and thank God we're not there right now, right? Number 4, New England
It's
Patriots. You're
me.
up, Pop.
Yeah. I'm going to shake things up a little bit here. And I think this was a pick that we saw on some of our mocks that we went through last week. I'm going to Tyler Warren, tight end for Penn State. I think they're going to get
I love
their
it.
young quarterback a weapon. It's like
I
he's
love
rated
it.
10th, or he's picked 10th by ESPN to go to Chicago Bears. But I'm going to say they go weapon here instead of offensive line, and they go get Tyler Warren from Penn State.
Well, he can help you out on your offensive line too, right? It's the other half of the tight end's
Yeah.
job. I love it. I love it. So that would put us at number 5 for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I'm not going to lie to you. I don't have a deep understanding of what the Jacksonville Jaguars do and don't need, other than a head coach that can actually say their chant properly. You see
I
that
mean, if
clip,
you look
Pop?
at the next few picks, there's some highly rated offensive linemen. There's D tackle. There's running back. I mean, there's multiple ways they could go there.
Now, before I make this pick, Pop, give me your best Liam Cohen Duval before I make the pick.
I don't
A
even.
guy looks like
I
a
know.
deer with the
I
headlights.
vaguely remember the
You didn't
kid.
see that?
I
You
do
didn't see
remember
that?
it now. It's coming
Yeah, give
back
me
to
that.
me, but
Give
I
me that.
don't
Here,
remember.
I'll demonstrate. Give me a little Duval. Give it to me, Pop. Come on, give it to the people.
Duval.
There it is. Oh, that might have been worse than Liam. That might have been worse than
I was
Liam
trying to
Cohen.
ham it up.
You were free. Liam Cohen has been freed from the worst
Voice
Duval of all
isn't back.
time.
Voice isn't back all the way yet. Still
Oh, that's
cracking.
classic. It's a shame that happened 35 minutes into this podcast. That's beautiful. Um, after all the pomp and circumstance, I'll just go ahead and say that they take Mason Graham, defensive tackle out of Michigan, because I don't know what their positions of need are. That seems to be what people think will happen here, and I'm good to go there. So, Pop, what do you think? Number 6.
So it's getting interesting now, right? Because you got
Now things get fun.
a couple of highly rated offensive tackles, and Will Campbell out of LSU, and Armand Membau out of Missouri, right? So do they want to get deep in the trenches? But I happen to know, from what I've been reading and what I've been hearing, the Raiders absolutely love this next player. Absolutely love him. He could be dynamic. He could really be a game changer for this team. They're going Ashton Genty, running back from Boise State.
100%. That's just got Pete Carroll written all over it. I mean, Pete Carroll's whole NFL career, all he wanted was a thumper at running back. Never quite. Well, he had Marshawn Lynch. I was say never quite had it. Had Lynch, and he's been chasing the dragon ever since.
But this is a guy that's not only a thumper, can give you catches in the pass game too. Highly talented player.
His comp is LaDainian Tomlinson. He's a pretty good running back, right?
Feel pretty good about that.
Yeah. New York Jets, they want to tackle here. Will Campbell's on the board. I think they're going to go ahead and take Will Campbell.
They'll run to the podium for that.
They'll be so excited about that.
That's for you, Scott.
Definitely. So that leaves Carolina Panthers at number 8. What do you got, Pop?
Ooh, it's me. All right. So the guys that have fallen down the board, you can go O tackle or you can go linebacker edge. What does Carolina need? Who knows? I'm going to go back to back offensive tackles. I think they're going to go with Armand Membau. I feel like I'm saying that beautifully out of Missouri, but why not protect their young quarterback? I don't know if tackle's a position in need, but you would think offensive tackles, you can never have too many. I'll
Yeah.
go offensive tackle for Carolina.
Tell you what, Pop, it sounds beautiful to me. I don't know if you're saying it right, but I think it sounds beautiful. It's kind of like if Fergie and Jesus pronounced it, a combination kind of thing. That would put me at number 9, New Orleans Saints. People have them taking Shadur Sanders here. He's still on the board. But I don't see it. I'm going to have them take Will Johnson, cornerback out of Michigan.
Woo!
Fill in that hole for Marshawn Lattimore that they left last year. I think Will Johnson is a stud, super talented player. I think they've got Derek Carr still under contract. I think they have delusions of grandeur that, if he's healthy. I also just don't think. I think here's the issue with Shedeur. I think he's a talented player, and I think he could be an NFL starting quarterback. I think there's a lot of teams that are not in love with him enough to pick him that high versus where the rest of the draft classes coming up the next couple of years. And I just don't see teams in situations where it makes sense to be a little bit desperate and maybe overreach on a guy like Sanders. I just don't see it. I think this is kind of going to be like the 2022 draft where like Kenny Pickett fell way down and he was the first guy taken. That's kind of how I feel about Shadur. I just don't
It's
see a
spicy
team
and
reaching on him.
it's spicy, and we can get into it once I make this 10th pick about like where would he go after that, because a lot of the teams coming after don't really need a quarterback and wouldn't be in the market to pick him. Now somebody could trade up, of
Yeah,
course, if this scenario plays out. That's pretty spicy. I think the Bears want an offensive weapon. Tyler Warren's off the board. I know there's some pretty great defenders available. You got Jalen Walker, linebacker edge out of Georgia.
yeah.
I think he'd be an opportunity there, but I think they want to go offensive weapon. So I think they're going to take, much to the Cowboys' chagrin, Matthew Golden, wide receiver out of Texas, off the board and get another weapon for their young quarterback, Caleb Williams.
Love it. Love it. I mean, that's what I would do if I was Chicago. I would not mind them drafting a tackle or more offensive line help because they did make some moves for offensive linemen that are in their mid 30s. So I don't like,
You got
and
Kelvin Banks Jr. looks to be the next offensive tackle out of
yeah,
Texas, but he'd be number 3 off the board.
and Chicago Bears fans, I know you won the offseason again. Congratulations to you all. But when the Kansas City Chiefs just got blown out and dominated on the offensive line in the Super Bowl, and they say, you know how we're going to fix this? We're going to trade this guy away. I don't think he's your solution to fixing your offensive line, personally. So I think they need more help on the line. I think had Tyler Warren been there, it would have made a lot of sense. But I think you're looking at there may be, based on the way we drafted, there may be some quality there still at tackle. So I think Kelvin Banks Jr. would be my pick for them. But I can see them wanting to stack strength and add
I
a
just
really
like
good
them
wide
taking
receiver.
Matthew Golden so that the Cowboys can't out.
I'm all for that.
And he's the first wide receiver if you don't count, Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
He's the first wide receiver on the board, in terms of talent. So I think there's a lot of value in that pick at that point. So, and I think, I just got this feeling they want to go weapon. But let's have the Shadur Sanders conversation real quick, right?
Yeah.
San Francisco at 11, probably not taking him. Dallas at 12, probably not taking him. Miami Dolphins at 13. Do they want to start having the
No. They
Tua
should.
replacement?
They should, but they won't.
Colts probably not taking him. You
No,
got
that's
Anthony
already a
Richardson.
mess there.
Falcons definitely aren't taking him. Cardinals definitely aren't taking him. Bengals definitely aren't taking him at 17. Seahawks are not going to take him, I don't think. Who the Seahawks got?
They just got Darnold. They signed Darnold to
They
what is
spent a lot of money on Darnold, right?
well, they signed Darnold to what is essentially a 1-year deal. And there's a lot of it's a 3-year deal with a lot of hundreds of millions attached to it in like agent talk, but it's basically a 1-year deal when you get into like what the cap cut numbers
So the
are.
Bucks are set at 19, right? Broncos are set at 20. Steelers are not. Steelers maybe.
I think Pittsburgh.
Steelers could be in
Pittsburgh
play.
would pick him. I think if he makes it past 9, I think Pittsburgh drafts him. Because that Aaron Rodgers talk is still up in the air. And I think regardless, Pittsburgh gets a guy that they think, okay, he's got talent, he needs some time to develop. It's a great system for him. Frankly, I think Shedeur, look, for his ego, it's going to hurt to not get drafted in the top 10. But I think you are much better off getting drafted by Pittsburgh or getting drafted by maybe the Rams at 26 become interesting as well. I think you're much better off getting drafted in one of those positions. Even like, I doubt it. But you wonder about Detroit at 28. I mean, Goff was really good last year, but do they start to have that Minnesota Kirk Cousins situation there?
It's interesting because unless you get to Pittsburgh, and then when you really look at the rest of the teams in the first round, nobody really needs a quarterback. That's kind of weird. Pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean the other thing I'm wondering is like, is there a team that trades back into the first round to take him? So do you have a team like Cleveland? Do you have a team like New York maybe that trades with Kansas City, Philadelphia, Buffalo, maybe even Washington? If Shadeur's coming down the board and you're sitting at 29 and you're Adam Peters, do you make a phone call to Vegas, to New York, etc.?
So it's interesting. It's interesting. It ties to what you're saying. And the latest mock draft from ESPN, which is a combined Yates-Kuiper draft, they've got the Commanders trading. I would love this if this happened. They've got the Commanders trading down from 29 and 128, exchanging picks 29 and 128, which would be our first and fourth for Cleveland's number 33 and 67. I would love that trade, right? First pick in the second round, you get another second round pick. Number 67 is an early third. I would absolutely do that. They have Cleveland trading up to take Jackson Dart.
Right. So if they're willing to do that and Shadeur's there, maybe 100%. The price gets even higher. So I think that would be exciting. I think that's the scenario I predict with Shedeur. I predict somebody's coming back up into the first round to take him, and he makes it past number 9 in New Orleans. But we'll see. We'll see. I just don't. Maybe it just doesn't make sense to me. But all I could
say is this, son. Despite the angst and the concern, that might have been our best pod yet.
Boys can debate. It was an aggressive pod.
The boys can debate.
It was an aggressive pod. It was a lot of fun. A lot of good content here, guys. I really hope you stuck through it. Watch to the end or watch it in chunks. Watch 10 minutes and then pick it up. Hit that history tab.
It's a little late. Anybody that's clicked off isn't hearing this.
Yeah, that's fair. I really hope those of you who did. If you've been hanging around now, congrats. You're a certified sicko. And go ahead and hit that subscribe button because you're not getting any better anytime soon. So you might as well just enjoy hanging out with the boys here.
We might clip it up. This might be one worth clipping up a little bit this week.
Might be. All right, Let's wrap this thing up, Pop. Without further ado, I've been Dom.
This is Pop.
Thank you for another great week, everybody, and hail to the Commanders.
Hail.